Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. I'm excited for this one. We're going to be focusing on something I think you'll find really interesting.
Yeah, this should be a good one.
So we're taking a look at the world of flight attendants, but not just like the basics.
Yeah.
We're going beyond the drink carts and the safety demos.
Right, more of a behind the scenes look.
Exactly. And the source material we've got for today, oh, it is juicy. It's basically a tell-all about the wild and sometimes straight up crazy stuff that flight attendants have to deal with.
I got a sneak peek, and yeah, there's some stuff in there that I bet most people don't even think about.
No, they don't. We're
Yeah.
talking about dealing with drunk passengers,
Oh, yeah.
theft in midair,
Oh, wow.
and even like in-flight celebrations, they get a little out of control.
It's funny. I think we all have this image of flight attendants, as being all smiles and perfect service.
Right.
But they're also dealing with some pretty intense stuff up there at 30,000 feet. It's kind of like they're mini sheriffs of the sky.
Yeah. That's a great way to put it. Balancing passenger comfort with safety, like you said. Yeah. Okay, so let's jump right in. The first thing that really caught my eye was the whole drunk passenger situation.
Oh, yeah.
That seems so much trickier than just dealing with someone rowdy at a bar or something.
Oh, absolutely. The environment is so unique. Like, you're in this confined space, you're hurtling through the air, the stakes are just way higher.
Right.
So that's why airlines, they really prioritize training their flight attendants to know exactly how to de-escalate those situations.
So it's not just about cutting someone off from the bar cart.
Oh, no, no. It's way more nuanced than that. They're trained to use specific techniques, like calm but assertive language, separating disruptive passengers if they need to, even offering them like alternative beverages to try and kind of distract them or shift their focus.
I never thought of that.
But of course, it's also knowing when to involve the authorities, like if they have an air marshal on board or even looping in the pilot.
Right, because that's a whole other level of seriousness.
Exactly.
So it's not just about diffusing the situation in the air,
Right.
but also documenting everything.
Oh, absolutely. Thorough documentation is key.
What are the legal ramifications if someone gets truly out of control on a flight?
Well, they'll gather witness statements from other passengers and even preserve evidence like any, empty bottles or whatever was involved. All that gets handed over when they land.
Wow.
And you know what the source even said?
What's that?
Airlines can actually ban passengers for life if their behavior is bad enough.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's like a reminder those safety announcements, they aren't kidding around.
No kidding. Okay, well, let's shift gears a bit. Another thing that surprised me reading this was theft on flights. I mean, how often does that actually happen?
More than you'd think.
And how do they even investigate something like that when you're up in the air?
Yeah, it's definitely tricky, confined space, thousands of feet up. But flight attendants, they're actually trained to gather info and preserve the scene as best they can.
So they're like detectives in the sky.
Exactly. They'll take witness statements, document seat numbers, try to see if anyone noticed any interactions between passengers. It's really interesting.
So what kinds of things are we talking about being stolen? Is it like super valuable stuff?
You'd think, right. But the source actually mentioned that smaller things are actually more common targets.
Really?
Yeah, things like electronics, wallets, sometimes even duty-free alcohol. It seems like opportunity is a big factor, and those are easier to conceal.
So basically never leave your stuff unattended, even for a second.
Very much.
Okay, on a lighter note, the source also mentioned in-flight celebrations, which is cute and all, but I can definitely see how that could get out of hand.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You've got people wanting to celebrate honeymoons, birthdays, you name it.
Right.
But then you have to balance that with all the safety regulations. It's a tough job.
So do flight attendants ever have to be the party poopers?
Oh, sometimes, yeah. The source mentioned that there are rules against things like opening champagne bottles because of the pressure changes in the cabin. So sometimes they gotta step in, make sure things don't get too wild.
Yeah, I can see that. But at the same time, you want to let people enjoy themselves.
Exactly. It's a constant balancing act, like
Yeah.
walking a tightrope sometimes.
All right, well, it's been so fascinating getting this glimpse into the lives of flight attendants.
Yeah, it's definitely given me a new perspective.
Me too. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive, everyone. But before you go, I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay, hit us with it.
So we've talked about all the crazy human stuff flight attendants have to deal with. But with all this new technology, AI, automation, all that, how do you think that's going to change their jobs in the future?
It's a good question.
Right? Like, are we going to have robot flight attendants someday?
Yeah.
Or will their roles just evolve? We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, share your ideas.
Until next time.
See you then.